All right, this is Brent Marvick with BP Kitchen Equip. We have here a 2021 Bizerba GSP HD slicer. The slicer is overall in pretty good shape. It's got some nicks, some dings here and there. Honestly, not much. Definitely doesn't have a lot on the important edges, so there's some slight scratching in there. There's virtually no scratching on the carriage right here. Yeah, same thing here. It's in pretty good shape. The blade cover is a little worn. It's really not that bad though. Some nicks, some dings. And the blade is almost brand new. It has in fact been used, but it has like the vast majority of slices. Yeah, so overall, the slice is in pretty good shape. It's a 2021, so it's had a relatively short amount of use, unless they replace this blade somewhat recently. This thing has not been used very much at all. So yeah, let's see. These HDs can operate like the manuals do. Let's run this through here. So this is the reference carriage run. So the slicer will move back and forward in order to figure out where the reference is for the automatic portion. Let's go here. So this is the manual mode. So right now, I'm going to cut at, say, a 0.5 millimeter. So this carriage will not run unless you, in fact, move it. You can move it all the way back, all the way forward. You can linger out somewhere in here and just move back and forth if you're slicing a small piece of salami, for example. But the really cool thing about these automatics is, although this does work in this mode, just like a manual, it's also assisted, which means that it doesn't take nearly the amount of force in order to operate them. It's not a benefit. It's not particularly worthwhile, I would say, unless you have employees that are just running this thing all day. It's going to reduce the amount of fatigue in their arms. Yeah, so that's one added benefit is these automatic models just make manual slicing a little bit easier. The real benefit here is the automatic mode though. So let's go back, let's cut it a 0.5 millimeter. I'm going to turn this speed down to 1 because this lazy Susan does not like speed. We're going to go at the full stroke length. So this is the real benefit of these HD models, is that you can walk away while this thing is slicing. It has a variety of stroke lengths, so right now, if you look at where this comes to the edge, it's about right there, right? You have a variety of stroke lengths, so we're going to go the medium route now. So this goes to right about there, and let's go the short stroke length, so right about there. So we got about there, there, and here. Let's go all the way back to long. So the real benefit to that is if you're, I don't know, slicing a big chuck that's going to take up this whole width, you can use a long stroke length. You're slicing a small piece of salami, it's only going to use that much. Also, this is on the slow speed. Let's crank it up to high speed. There we go. Yeah, the added benefit of that is it's just going to be able to cut things faster. It does not affect the performance of it at all, unless you have something that, you know, is maybe a little flimsy. You will need to go on a slower side. Just make sure you get a clean cut all the way through. But as long as it's a relatively hard piece of meat or whatever have you, it'll do just fine. There we go. So those are the modes. This is a meat grip. What you typically do, say you're going to put, I don't know, say this piece of meat right there. You can put the meat grip like so, or you can actually put it on top to make sure it doesn't jump up. It's your choice. So that is, again, generally, oh, I should also mention this. Whenever this is recessed, the blade is recessed, you can also move this carriage back. This makes it really easy for cleaning. You just take your wet rag, wipe down this top here, wipe down this carriage, get up in the nooks and crannies of the slicer, pivot this back, clean up in there, put everything back and you're good to go. Also, whenever you want to clean the blade, just pop a little latch out there, and this blade cover is removed. Yeah, that's I'll be doing a video at some point showing how these slicers actually operate. But for the time being, we're just gonna show you the functionality and talk to you a little bit about this slicer. So why would you buy from BP Kitchen Equip? We don't sell you used stuff. I don't test and wipe down anything. This slicer took me about 6 hours to do. Put it on my workbench. There we go. I removed this bottom piece. I removed this gauge plate. I removed this carriage on top. I cleaned and lubricated everything. I made sure that every mechanical component was properly functioning. Every electrical component was properly functioning. I replaced it all back. If there was anything that needed to be calibrated, such as the gauge plate, I calibrated it, or the control knob. We really do service these things just like you would get from Bizerba. So not only are you getting a 2021 HD slicer, it's also recently been serviced. It's going to save you that extra cost of money. We also warranty all of our products for 120 days. We do that just because we stand behind our work. We don't sell junk. I'm guaranteed to sell you something that works. So let's talk about lubrication. So we got this bar back here, right? That bar has the meat grips slide up and down. What we do, we actually lubricate that bar as well as the main bar that this carriage slides back and forth on with Bizerba OEM oil. I do that so that these slicers come to you as they would from Bizerba. They work just as they would if you bought it from the factory. You can just get it from a discounted price. Recently as well, we actually started getting Bizerba grease. This has Bizerba grease in there, just to make sure it'll fully spin. There's Bizerba grease on this arm underneath here, inside here. Whatever parts need to be lubricated, whether it's grease or oil, it's Bizerba stuff. I don't use knockoff anything. Yeah. Let me think. The mechanical components are in fully working condition. I double checked that the cam behind here is not cracked or broken. I make sure that there's no cracks in here. So just behind this piece of plastic right here, there's actually the electrical components. If those ever get wet, you're at risk of ruining the machine. I just make sure that all these components are in tip-top shape. If not, I actually repair them. I 3D print little pieces of plastic that will replace parts of that. Let me see what else. I can talk about safety mechanisms. So yeah, one of the benefits of buying from us too is it's also calibrated. So first easy example, the moment that this blade becomes exposed, this will flash red. That'll just let your employees or you know that if you put your finger in there and the blade's running, you could get cut. Like I just felt the blade right there. The moment that it is at 0 and it is flashing green, you cannot get cut. Additionally, I make sure, just to prove it, this blade is running. It will flash red whenever it's running. I cannot get cut. From Bizerba, whenever this thing is recessed, as it is here below 0, it should be 1.5 millimeters to 2 millimeters above the blade. I make sure that it's at that level. Whenever we get these slicers in auction, normally they're jostled around, bumped around, so they're usually not where they should be. It wasn't this one, it was another one, but whenever this was recessed, you could actually cut yourself up here. I calibrate this gauge plate to make sure that that's not possible. Whenever this carriage can go back, you cannot cut yourself. Additionally, the moment that this blade does become exposed, you cannot move the carriage back for cleaning. Then the moment that it is recessed, you're good to go. Yeah, we just make sure that these slicers are as safe as they would come from Bizerba. Something else we do, say I wanted to cut something at 1, I make sure that that 1 millimeter is actually 1 millimeter right here, so it is accurate. Say you wanted to cut it at 1/2. I make sure that it will cut at 1/2 here. And we keep all the others, so say you want to cut it 10 millimeters, for example. I make sure that that is accurate within a 0.5 millimeter. We mainly focus on this part. I make sure that 0 is 0, half is ideally half, and we just kind of work our way down in terms of priority. But everything will be accurate within 0.5 millimeter. This blade is also going to be as sharp as it would be from the factory. So right now, let's cut at 4 millimeters. Grab the sheet of paper. And we cut it no problem. I will not send you a slicer with a dull blade. Yeah, I use OEM Bizerba stones, Bizerba slicers, or Bizerba sharpeners, excuse me, and I make sure that, yeah, this machine is in tip-top shape. Something else I do that does not come from Bizerba is I apply this. This is a food grade cleaner. The main thing that we're looking at here is it forms a protective coating. And that protective coating, it resists watermarks. You actually want that because these slicers do get watermarks after 3 to 4 years. You normally see watermarks about right here, wherever the meat has just been resting against. You'll just see a little, a little bit of white discoloration. It's normally in here with the juices drip down as well. Sometimes in here. What I do is whenever I remove all these pieces from the slicer, this and this, I actually take this and I make sure that every square inch is covered. Again, it is food grade, it is safe, and I just make sure that this will not, have watermarks anytime soon. It also looks pretty good. It really makes these slicers shine. Yeah, so just to cover what I've talked about so far. These slicers are lubricated, they're mechanically sound, they are electrically sound, they are safe. The blades can be very, very, very sharp. This blade, I also make sure that the blades have at least 66% of their lifespan left. This one is basically brand new, considering it came off in 2021, and I try to match like with like. But we make sure that, yeah, all the blades, regardless of the years, have at least 2/3 of their lifespan left. Let me think. That's just about it. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My number should be in the listing and my email. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Hope you have a good day.